Hi folks, I'm Will Bridges, and in this video we're going to be talking about trading with support and resistance, how to find levels of support and resistance. This is extremely important for anybody that wants to trade any type of instrument whatsoever. You need to know what prices have been popular for a turnaround in the past. Past doesn't predict the future, but it does kind of give you a map to follow. So if you like videos like this, then by all means support us. Click that thumbs up button. It'll only take a second. I'll wait. I'm just playing around with you, but subscribe, ring the bell. We're going to have lots of time-sensitive information on this channel that you're going to want to get as soon as we post. But let's go ahead and get today's show on the road, and let's cover our base first thing first. Everything in this video will be for educational purpose only. You do with the information that you think is best, but you do have to risk it to get the biscuit, folks. No such thing as a guaranteed trade or investment. There's lots more education on our website on 123trade.com. We have up to $22,000 in access that you can get for free just for funding a trading account through us. So by all means, if you have questions, send us an email to brokers@123trade.com or visit the website 123trade.com/premium to get more info about that. Let's get to support and resistance, people. And, this is really one of the most important things that anybody should know when it comes to trading. You need to know what a low price is and what a high price is. We need to talk about some price levels, why these things are important, and why you need to pay attention if you plan on trading and ever making money at anything. Okay, so really, number one, financial markets, like to make turns at familiar prices. That's just a fact. Okay, so you're often going to have, a popular price. So maybe the market likes it when the Euro USD is at $1.10.5. And I say the market likes it because it continues to return back to that price. It'll hit it, leave, hit it, leave. And there are lots of, places I can show that. I'm going to show this on a live chart here later in this video. You are going to want to pay attention to everything that's in here because there are a lot of small things that you really, shouldn't just miss for no good reason. But price levels that are above your current market price, those are called resistance. That's where people don't want higher prices. And, that's where people start to sell, take profit. That's what resistance levels often are. Support levels are where the buyers typically take over because that would be considered a relative low price, and there's no reason to let it come any lower. We're already at a great price. Let's buy it now. So that's really what these levels represent, are places where the market has picked up, left, and gone the other direction in the past. So that's very important when you're considering places to get in or out of a trade. Because if the market has turned here before, sometimes, 7 times, then maybe it will again. That's really what this is about. So price support. Okay, so to make this more clear, you guys have all heard, bulls and bears. Okay, the buyers in the market are the bulls. Okay, and the levels that they take over at are often going to be these support levels, and often multiple times. Okay, so you can draw all these manually. I'm going to show you how to do that. You do need to draw them from the true lows or true highs. You would draw from the true lows to look for the support levels, and the highs to get resistance. We're going to talk about that here more in a second. But many of these levels are going to be Fibonacci levels, and that's really interesting to just be that way. But that's kind of just how the world works out. That's how growth happens in Fibonacci ratios and ranges and distorted movements that it makes on a day-to-day basis of just up, down, up, down, up, down all day. Sometimes more up than down, and sometimes others. But let's get into resistance. Okay, so this is where the bears have taken over in the past. These are the people that want lower prices. This is where these resistance levels are, where we made a high and the market turned and went the other way. So I don't have to know why any of these turns in the market happen at any given price. I just have to know that they happened and that it very likely could happen again if that's a heavy price level. So very similar to the support levels, resistance is also going to be something that you can often find with Fibonacci levels, and that's a big part of trend trading with Fibonacci's. If you want to watch more videos about that, we've actually got some you can watch. You can check out any of our videos on 123trade.com/YouTube. If you watch any of our archived client-only sessions, or if you join us and you fund an account and you trade with us live Friday, then We go through all this stuff in pretty heavy detail. I'm going to show a couple of tools in here that I like to use to make this a little bit easier for myself to find the heaviest levels, which I think is important for you to know what the heaviest level of support is and the heaviest level of resistance. And that's something that's pretty, in my opinion, easy to find if you know what you're looking for. And we're going to talk about that before this video is over, so pay attention. But key things to remember, okay, the larger time frames are going to control the smaller time frames. So the monthly chart that shows 25 years of data, the highs and lows are going to be more impactful on that chart than they are on the 1 minute chart by a long shot. So if you're looking for more impactful levels, higher time frames are better. Also, past support levels where the market decided to come back up and the bulls took over, okay, those levels often like to become resistance in the future if we ever break back into that lower range. So important to understand, those things often switch, and that would basically make a specific price level look kind of like a magnet. So I'll show that on a chart here also, just to make sure you guys understand what I mean by all this stuff. But these levels are looked at by most traders, okay? So everybody can see where highs and lows have happened. And this is very much something that if you don't know how to find it, everyone else has an advantage on you. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of stuff. Before we get into that real quick, I just want to make sure everybody understands support and resistance is really built into most trading strategies. Okay, so Fibonacci levels, all that stuff is very much based on finding levels of support and resistance. Pocket trading, target trading, pivots, supply and demand. There are so many more strategies that meet with what high and low looks like. Okay, so it's in the DNA of most trading strategies. You need to know this. Okay, I want to make sure that you guys absolutely understand this is a basic concept. I'm going to show you guys how to draw horizontal lines in a couple of minutes. Okay, so really right now for the next couple of minutes. But this is really one of the most important things for you to understand. And if you are good at this, then you can be an incredibly better trader than other people, because the name of the game with trading is to keep things simple. And I'm going to show this on, let's get over to the Euro USD. This is everybody's favorite. A lot of people always ask, what should I trade when I'm getting started? This one's popular because it's high volume. And typically if you're going to use technical analysis, it's going to be, technical analysis is inherently, theoretically better with more data. So if I had, 10 price levels shown on this chart, it'd be very hard for me to figure out where it was going to go next. But since I have years of data and what it's done every year for the last 30 years, then I can use a lot more technical analysis. So keep that in mind when you use strategies based on market movement. Big volume is typically going to be, make your strategy a little bit more accurate if you're using something technically based. So let's go ahead and draw a few lines on here. Okay, I want to just get an idea of where the big levels of resistance are first. I'll go ahead and draw some of these on this time frame. I'm going to get the ray tool out. There's actually a way you can do this in an automated fashion. I'll show you in a second here. But generally, we've got a level here. Okay, we've got another one up here. And you just kind of work your way up. Okay, this is all my big levels of resistance that have occurred over the years, so I can know where, if this thing does break up north, I can see where it may decide to come back and test, because it may, for all we know, it could work its way up there forever. I also need to know what levels of support are close. Okay, so we've got one here. Okay, we've also got another down here, and we've got another a little bit lower. Okay, all the way down in the 103 area. These are all the way down around 82 cents. Okay, so there's all of my support and resistance. We just drew all of that just a moment, didn't take very long. And these are the heaviest levels that I should be able to find, because we are looking at our highest time frame. And these may or may not be useful even to me right now. Okay, so if anything, okay, I may try to trade toward these lines. I may also try to trade away from them. So what I mean is if this market decides to fall down and hit this 115 level here where our line is in the middle, one that I've just selected here, okay, so just under 116, I may decide to buy from there, at least for a short period of time, and capitalize on a little bit of movement that might happen in the up direction if there are more buyers there. Because the last time we were at that price, the market went ahead and decided to move a good number of pips. We're talking about 660 pips the last time we got to this price. So it's not unreasonable for me to think that maybe we can get 100 pips If we hit this price again, I may set up an order that I could, very quickly just take that bounce. I might try to trade towards the line. Really kind of depends on what's available to me on the lower time frames. And I can look for support and resistance on lower time frames as well. It's not something that's only reserved for the highest time frame, but I do want to know where those highest time frame levels are, because those are very much going to decide, maybe at least midterm trend direction for me. Like what might happen for the next few days type of direction. And really, now that I've figured out where the ranges are, I'm much closer to this magnetic line that I've got here, because the last time the market came above here, it immediately came back to test. I'll pull over and I'll show you guys. But we went above, we came back to test this level twice. So something tells me we may come back to it a third time, because the market likes familiar prices, just like you liked the dollar menu at McDonald's and everybody loved $5 footlongs, and everybody's been trying to figure out how to get a $5 lunch at every business for the last 30 years, and it's finally becoming unreasonable with inflation. But I'm just saying, people like familiar prices, so they'll take even less value if it's the same price, as ridiculous as that might sound. So that being said, I think that there's a good shot that this thing could come down here, bounce. I need to know where my levels of resistance are, maybe, so that I can figure out maybe where I might want to put a stop loss. So, this time around, I'll make more horizontal rays, okay? And I'll just put these on my recent highs I've got here. We've got a few, okay? So, actually, I need to lock this tool up. Get a couple of these lines, okay? So, basically, those are all of my levels of resistance I've got on this wave down. That's going to give me an idea of where I may want to get out, because I may just decide to put in, a green line down here. I may just aim for this level of support to try to exit sometime in the near future. This wouldn't be a crazy long-term trade. I do need a place to get in. That could be even right now. So I'll make this line here blue, so you guys can see the difference. But I could really have my stop loss at this closest level here and have 2 to 1. So then I can figure out solid risk reward. If I could have my stop loss further up above, maybe not have the stop loss here, that might be preferable. So I may actually not get into this trade right away, because I can kind of pull up my entry strategy a little bit and try to get in at a higher price. Then I have all these other levels of resistance that I could use as my shield, as for my stop loss. And that's really what I'm looking for, is just heavy levels the market may turn around at on both sides of the market, the side that I'm aiming towards and the one that I'm aiming away from, because I want protection. If the market is, making lower highs, then I want to have my stop loss above some of these lower highs. So I need to measure where those are. That's really the important thing. And a lot of people have a trouble, grasping this concept for whatever reason. Everybody's got a different pair of eyeballs as far as where to draw these and how to draw them. But you don't necessarily have to do that in the Smart Trader platform. You can kind of just turn them on. So if I want, my smart resistance, those are all of the highs that are above. I didn't draw all of those. I was a little bit more selective than the automation. I like to look for bunches in these lines, or if you want fewer of these lines and you want to find heavier ones, you just go to a higher time frame. So what this thing drew on the daily was very much what you guys saw me draw on the 4-hour. So those are my levels of resistance. I can look at this and say, okay, well, where is my support? Okay, all those levels are just pumped in there for me. Also, I've got another level of support that I didn't actually draw. So there are, a lot of these levels, the higher time frames I told you at the beginning, those are going to have very much the heaviest levels on the chart. Just because, well, the market turned and went the other way for years and didn't look back. So that is a big deal if you're looking for a trade idea. So this is really one of the most important concepts for you to understand. If you want to get access to the Smart Trader platform, we actually have $25 off your first month of Prime on our website. It's on our recommended products page. A lot of people, spend a lot of time drawing all this stuff. There are more tools as well in here. If you fund a trading account with us, you might get something like this and have an auto fib scanning tool. So, a lot of these levels, okay, you will notice that a lot of them are going to combine, with, well, these Fibonacci levels are going to be important over time. This is the monthly chart. So many of these levels were important year after year after year after year. I just had this thing scanned for all these. I didn't have to do that manually. It'll scan for them on the lower time frames too. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of overlap in price on these levels. Okay, that's really why people love to trade with Fibonacci's. So we've got more education on that. There's more coming as well. Like I said, watch any of our other videos. Go to our website and check out the YouTube page. And there's lots of other videos where we show Fibonacci trading. But that being said, folks, I think if this is something that you haven't really grasped onto fully yet, then by all means watch this video a couple of more times. Don't overthink it. Okay, I was purposefully trying to keep this as simple as possible. Okay, there is over $22,000 of free education that you could get for free on our website on the premium page. So if you haven't checked that out, then by all means go ahead and do that. If you haven't hit the like button yet, then why not? Why not? Give me a comment down below. What else do I have to do to help to get you guys the information that you need to get to the next level? Because that's really what this is about. We're going to be putting out a lot more content, so by all means subscribe. A lot of it will be time sensitive. Okay, so you are going to want to get notifications from YouTube, and that way you can get everything in your inbox, and it'll be a lot easier for you to follow along. But again, I'm Will Bridges from your team at 123 Trade. Thank you for checking out the video. You have a wonderful rest of your day, and be good or be good at it. Take care, folks.